Hey everyone, Brad here, and today I wanted to give you guys something a little bit different rather than some content and guidance and mindset based stuff that we've been talking a little bit about. And what I wanted to do is share with you a couple books that I found to be really, really helpful. And I've always been a really big fan of reading books, not really the fiction based, but more nonfiction my entire career. So when I was originally starting out in therapy and training, I was really, really into to reading books from that, getting into marketing and sales and so on. So I'm going to give you some top books that I've always really enjoyed. Some are newer, some are older, and I'm going to give you some of the reasons why I find them beneficial, and hopefully you guys can add them to your list and get some of the stuff out. So first thing I'm going to start with is the books that I found really helpful in terms of therapy. So one of the first ones that I got here is called Receptor-Based Solutions. And I'll add a little link in the bottom of just what these books are. So Receptor-Based Solutions. And what it is applying functional neurology-based concepts in your health practice. So functional neurology for me has been a really big component to my treatment-based system that I'm using in order to get athletes and regular population people who are dealing with pain functioning better, faster, and lasting longer. And it's been one of the big components of my practice of really being able to get results that stick. Often we all hear about getting to the root causes and so on. What I really started to realize with functional neurology was that the overall reasons a lot of people revert back or have plateaus in their treatment process is partly to do with actually changing the brain. So if someone's been living with a dysfunction or pain or something a long period of time, they're actually starting to change the cortex, and that cortex is going to affect the cerebellum and how people move and so on. So it's a really good book for being able to apply some basic functional neurology concepts. The next one that I found really good too is Total Postural Reprogramming. And this is by a French doctor, a neuroscientist, who, again, started to apply some of the concepts of functional neurology as well as applied kinesiology in terms of getting patients who are dealing with severe cognitive declines functioning without having to do surgeries and so on. So this is a really good step-by-step process of exactly the steps that he utilized in order to get these people who are potentially needing to have more invasive surgeries, specifically more spinal surgeries, out of the waiting line and getting them back to living more active lifestyle. So both of these books, they're written by MDs, so it's not some guy who's just sitting in a closet just writing a book away and having his opinion. They're well known and world renowned doctors. So really, really good books there. So I'll get a little bit into the business based stuff, and there's couple things that I'm going to break these up into. So I really look at business in terms of 4 different sections. You've got marketing, sales, operations, or delivery of the service, and finance. So starting with finance, one book that I found is be really, really beneficial. Some of you guys might have already heard it by now. I think he's becoming to get a little bit more popular is Mike Michalowicz, and he's writing Profit First. So it's an interesting book that really takes an idea of paying yourself first and investing in yourself. So that way you're not having a business that ultimately you're not paying yourself, you're not growing, and you're not reinvesting. So the whole concept here really is he's got a formula that you can utilize to put profit first and then maneuver your business around the remaining instead of spending all of your money first and then trying to pay yourself with potentially nothing at the end. This book, the next book here, kind of encompasses all of the categories in some capacity, maybe a little less finance. But it's a book on behavioral economics, and it's called Predictably Irrational. So Dan Ariely, he's a behavioral economist, and what he really seems to be a really good job at detailing in this book is how people make decisions. And what I've really found that was beneficial from this is people always really relate back to personal experiences in how they perceive things. So, for example, how we can really use this in terms of health practices is if somebody is coming to get a specific treatment from you, they might have seen someone else that had a bad experience. That bad experience is going to play out in what they perceive to be potentially the future with you. So it's really, really important to create a really good experience and help provide clarity so that ultimately prospects or patients or whoever you're dealing with have the best experience possible. So if for some reason they go somewhere else, you're always going to stand out as that gold standard. So this I like to use a lot in the over delivery based modules and customer service and retention based strategies that we use for creating that overall magnetic based culture and service that people are coming back to. All right, so next one was released relatively early, or later last year, I mean. So it's Dan Kennedy's Almost Alchemy. And the reason I like this book, he's got great books, and I've got pretty much, I think, almost every single one that I've went through, and always like to go back to review them. But Dan Kennedy's been a really big impact in my business, just from understanding the direct response-based components and really how to structure the business, how to market more effectively, and nurture the relationships and so on. So this book here I found is a collection and kind of a summary of all of the other books and stuff that he's been doing. So it's a really, really good starting point if you're kind of new into the Dan Kennedy or marketing-based world. That this book will be able to give you a little bit more clarity and some really good takeaways. It's more of an actionable book and less of the theoretical-based stuff. So next we get into a little bit more into the sales and marketing. And this book here is Getting Everything You Can Out of All You Got. It's by Jay Abraham, popular and famous business growth strategist, marketing strategist, kind of does a little bit of everything. So the big thing with this book is, again, it's a very actionable book. It gives you examples and, draws contrast between things that you can actually take from the book and be able to apply into your business right away. So it's less theoretical based, more, hey, this is a referral strategy that worked in this industry. You can apply it to your industry by doing A, B, and C. So I've gotten a lot of really good ideas just from this book alone that have saved us thousands of dollars and also helped us hone in on more specific types of marketing and help me look outside the industry for seeing what other people are doing that's successful in other industries that I can maybe copy or mimic in some capacity. And the last book I'll give you guys, because I think that's 7 or 8 books now, and that'll probably take you, unless you're a super speed reader, so a while to go through, goes on the overall how to structure your business. And it's Gino Wickman's Traction. So Traction is a really, really good book that really explains the fundamentals of how to set up and structure your business. So kind of what I talked about before of having a marketing, sales, operations, or the delivery of your service and finance departments. The book goes into really big detail of how to actually structure your business. And when I'm working with health practices and in my own, I'm really looking to see where someone is right now and what they need to do in order to get to the next stages of their goal. And often, if you're a brand new therapist, you just got a brand new practice and it's only you, the structure and your goals and strategies are going to be completely different than if you've got a clinic that has 15 different staff members. So when I was first starting out, what got me going in the first beginning stages was completely different than what happened when we end up having 15 people working in a facility that's doing almost $1.5 million a year. So these are some of the top highlight books. I've obviously got some others, but these are the ones that I find myself continuously going back to re-reference, getting new ideas and so on. And I find often, what happens is when you revisit old books or revisit old information, courses, whatever it is, as you start to develop, you start finding new uses for things. And there's sometimes I'll read specific chapter and it doesn't necessarily apply right now. But like I said, in a couple months, maybe that might start applying a little bit more. So subconsciously you start to program yourself. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys found this pretty useful. If you want to learn more about what I'm reading or courses or things that I found useful, different tools and that type of stuff, just let me know what you want to hear about. I'd highly recommend grabbing these books here. I think you find most of them on Amazon. And if you have any questions or whatnot, just leave me a comment below. Thanks.